It's late, and you're lying in bed, staring up at the ceiling, when a thought stops you cold, one you can't quite explain. What if something had gone differently today? Maybe it was nothing. A green light instead of a yellow one. A message you almost sent and didn't. A moment where you turned left instead of right without even thinking about it, without even noticing you had a choice. You don't know why the thought is here tonight. It just arrived, quiet and heavy, settling on your chest like it's waiting for you to notice it. But nothing about today was an accident. Long before you opened your eyes this morning, something was already moving on your behalf, something you never saw and never will. There was a hand on your life today, not loud, not visible, but real, keeping you from what you didn't even know to fear. So before anything else, before your mind starts running through the what ifs again, let's just breathe, in and out. You don't have to carry tonight's thoughts alone. You don't have to solve them or understand them or explain why they came. You only have to let them rest here in this quiet space for the next little while. This is not a sermon. It is not a lecture about faith. It's simply a moment. A few quiet minutes to sit with the truth that you were watched over today in ways you will never fully know. You don't need to figure out how you feel before you're allowed to be here. You don't need the right words or the right amount of faith or even a clear reason for the ache sitting in your chest tonight. You only need to stay a little while. Let your shoulders drop from your ears. Let your jaw unclench. Let the day begin, quietly, to loosen its grip on you. Before we pray, let's take a moment to remember everything that is already a gift in your life. Start here. With your breath, feel it move in, slow and full, and then out again, without you having to think about it, without you having to earn it. Your body has been doing this since the moment you were born, thousands of times a day, every single day, and you have never once had to remember how. That is not nothing. That is a gift. Thank you for this breath. Now think of your heartbeat. Somewhere beneath your ribs, quietly, faithfully, it has been keeping time all day. Through the traffic, through the meetings, through the arguments and the silences, through the moments you were too tired to notice it was even there. It never asked for a break. It never asked to be thanked. It simply kept going, on your behalf, without you. Thank you for this heartbeat that never stopped. Think now of this morning, the first light finding its way into your room, the sound of the world starting to wake around you. However it began, however hard or heavy or hurried it felt, you were given a morning today. Not everyone was. Thank you for this morning. Think of the people who love you. Maybe they are near, asleep down the hall, or in the next room, or a phone call away. Maybe they are far, carried only in memory, in a voice you can still hear when you close your eyes. However near or far, however complicated the love has been, it is still love. It is still a gift you did not have to earn. Thank you for the people who hold a piece of your heart. Think of your home. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look like anyone else's. But there is a roof somewhere above you tonight, walls around you, a small square of the world that is yours to rest in. So many nights you have taken that for granted without ever meaning to. Thank you. For shelter, think of your hands. All the small, unremarkable things they did today. Opening a door, holding a cup, reaching for someone else's hand, wiping away a tear you didn't want anyone to see. Your hands carried your day for you. Quietly, faithfully, and you barely noticed them at work. Thank you. For hands that serve you without complaint, think now of your eyes, and everything they were given to see today. The color of the sky at some point you barely looked up for. A familiar face across a room. The small, ordinary beauty of a world that keeps unfolding in front of you, whether you notice it or not. Thank you. For eyes that still see, think of your ears and every sound that reached you today. A voice you love, saying your name. Laughter somewhere nearby, even if it wasn't yours. Music that lifted something in you for just a moment, even in the middle of a hard day. Thank you. For ears that still hear, think of the food that reached your table today, however simple. A meal you didn't have to hunt, or grow, or fight for. Water, clean and easy, right there whenever you needed it. So much of the world does not have this. And tonight, you do. Thank you. For provision that has never once actually run out, think of your work. Whatever shape it takes. Maybe it drains you some days. Maybe it doesn't feel like enough. Or it feels like too much. But it is a door that has stayed open for you. A way for you to be useful, to contribute, to provide. Not everyone has that door standing open right now. Thank you. For a way to be useful in this season, think of a mistake you made today, or a moment you weren't proud of. A word said too sharply, a chance you let slip by, a version of yourself that fell short of who you want to be. And notice this, the day did not end there. You were given the chance to keep going anyway, to try again tomorrow, to not be defined by your worst 5 minutes. Thank you. For mercy that renews itself every single morning, think of a hard season now behind you, one that once felt like it would never end, the job that fell apart, and somehow, something else opened, the relationship that broke, and somehow, you are still standing. The diagnosis, the loss, the year you thought might undo you completely. You are here now, on the other side of it, closer to whole than you were then, even if the healing isn't finished yet. Thank you for every hard season that did not have the final word over your life. Think of a kindness you received today, however small, a door held open, a text that arrived at exactly the right moment, a stranger's small patience when you needed it most. You may have already forgotten it, but it was placed in your day for a reason, even if that reason was simply to remind you that you are not moving through this world unnoticed. Thank you for kindness that arrived exactly when you needed it. Think, too, of tomorrow, not with worry, but with quiet gratitude, because it has not even arrived yet, and already it is being prepared for you the same way today was. Thank you for a tomorrow you have not even had to face alone yet. Now think of something harder to name, the things that almost happened today and didn't, the near miss on the road that you drove straight through without even slowing down, never knowing how close it truly was. The illness that could have found you and didn't. The words someone almost said in anger and swallowed instead. The moment your foot could have slipped, your temper could have snapped, your whole day could have unraveled in an instant. And somehow, it didn't. You will never see the list of everything you were spared from today. It is not written anywhere you can read, but it exists. A quiet ledger, known only to the one who kept it. Thank you for the dangers you never had to face, because they were already turned aside before you arrived. This is the heart of gratitude. Not only thanking God for what you can see, but trusting Him for everything you cannot. The blessings you can count are only the surface. Beneath them, deeper than you can measure, is a lifetime of protection you were never shown, because you never needed to see it to be safe inside it. Think of your breath again, still moving, still faithful, in and out. The same rhythm that has carried you through every single day of your life, without you ever once having to remind it how. Think of your heartbeat, still keeping time. Think of this day, closing now, having carried you all the way to this moment. Tired maybe, but here. Still here. Have you noticed how different the ceiling looks now than it did a few minutes ago? The same room, the same night, but something in you has softened, just slightly, just enough to remember that tonight is not only the thought that startled you, it is also every quiet mercy that carried you here. A grateful heart does not wait for a perfect life before it gives thanks. It gives thanks in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the unfinished, in the middle of the not yet resolved. Because gratitude was never about the circumstances. It was always about the one who has been faithful inside them. So let your heart soften now. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let the grip you've been holding on today loosen in your hands. You are safe enough, right now, in this moment, to simply say thank you. For the breath, the heartbeat, the morning, the people, the shelter, the hands, and the 1,000 small mercies that moved around you today without you ever noticing them. There is nothing too small to be grateful for tonight, and nothing too big for God to have already been holding, long before you thought to thank Him for it. Now that your heart is open and grateful, let us bring everything you carry to God in prayer. Let your body settle now. Let your shoulders fall. Let your hands rest open, palms up, however you are sitting or lying, as if you are ready to receive something instead of holding on to everything. God, we come to you tonight the way a child comes home, tired, a little unsure, carrying more than we meant to carry, but certain that this is a safe place to set it down. You already know what today held. You already know the meeting that didn't go the way I hoped, the conversation that left a bruise I haven't named yet, the bill I don't know how I'll pay, the diagnosis I'm still afraid to say out loud, the child I worry about when the house goes quiet. You know all of it. Every worry I carried today, and every worry I am still carrying now. Even here, even in this moment of trying to rest, I don't have to explain it to you. I don't have to make it sound smaller than it is, or braver than I feel. I can simply bring it, exactly as it is. Tonight, I want to sit for a moment with something I don't often think about. Everything I was protected from today that I never saw and never will. The version of today that could have gone differently. The version where the diagnosis was worse. The accident happened. The conversation broke something that couldn't be repaired. That version exists somewhere, in the realm of what could have been, and I was not delivered into it. I was carried past it instead, quietly, without ever knowing how close I came. I don't say this to frighten myself with what might have been. I say it because it changes how I hold what actually happened. If you were faithful enough to protect me from what I never even had to face, then surely you are faithful enough to carry me through what I am facing now, in plain sight, wide awake, unable to look away from it. So I bring my fear, the fear that keeps circling back at night, when everything else goes quiet and there's nothing left to distract me from it. The fear of what might happen, the fear of what already has, the fear that maybe I am more alone in this than I let myself admit during the day, when I have to be strong for everyone else. God, you already saw every fear I carried today before I even had the words for it. And still, you were there. Still, you were near. Not far off, not distracted, not too busy with someone else's life to notice mine. Peace. Let that word settle over the fear tonight. Not the peace that pretends nothing is wrong, but the peace that stays anchored, even while the storm is still moving. The peace that does not need every question answered before it can rest. I bring my exhaustion, the kind that isn't about how many hours I slept, but about how long I've been holding everything together. For my family, for my work, for people who don't even know how tired I am, because I've learned to hide it so well. God, I am tired in places rest doesn't always reach. I am tired of being the strong one. I am tired of carrying what feels too heavy for one set of shoulders. So tonight, I ask you, not for more strength to keep pushing, but for real rest. The kind that reaches past my body and settles into my soul. Strength. Not the strength that grits its teeth and pushes through alone, but the strength that comes from knowing I was never carrying this by myself to begin with. Let that truth hold me up tonight, even in the places I feel like I am barely standing. I bring the quiet question of whether I actually matter, the one I don't say out loud to anyone, but that sits underneath so many of my days. Whether my work matters, whether my presence in this world would really be missed, whether I am more than what I produce, what I fix, what I hold together for everyone else. God, before I did anything at all, before my first accomplishment, before my first mistake, before anyone had a single opinion about me, you already called me yours. My worth was never something I earned. It was given the moment you made me, and it has not moved since, no matter how far away from it I sometimes feel. I bring my worry for the people I love, the ones whose struggles I cannot fix, no matter how much I wish I could, the ones who are far from you right now, and far from me too, in ways that keep me up at night, the ones whose health, whose safety, whose hearts I cannot control, no matter how tightly I try to hold on. God, you love them more than I do. You see them more clearly than I ever could. Where I only see the surface of their pain, you see the whole story, and you are already writing something good into it, even the parts I cannot see yet. I bring my provision, the bills that feel bigger than my income, the plans that keep falling through, the quiet fear that I am one hard month away from losing my footing completely. God, you know the exact number I'm afraid of. You know the exact door I am waiting to see open. I don't ask you to hand me everything I want. I ask you to be my provision, in whatever shape that takes, even the shapes I don't expect. I bring my body, the tiredness that settles in my bones by the end of the day. The symptom I've been ignoring because I'm afraid of what it might mean. The years that are starting to show in ways I didn't expect yet. God, you made this body, and you have kept it going through more than I sometimes give you credit for. Tonight, I ask you to watch over it, to protect what I cannot see inside myself, the same way you protected me from the dangers I never saw outside myself. I bring my grief, the person who is no longer here to call, the version of my life I thought I'd be living by now, that never came to be, the relationship that ended before I was ready to let it go. God, grief doesn't always look like tears. Sometimes it just looks like a heaviness I carry into ordinary moments, at ordinary times, for no reason I can explain to anyone else. You know exactly why. You have counted every one of those moments, even the ones I've hidden from everybody, even the ones I've hidden from myself. I bring my doubt. The nights I wonder if you are actually listening, or if these words just disappear into silence. The seasons I have prayed and watched nothing change, at least nothing I could see. God, I don't bring you a perfect faith tonight. I bring you an honest one. Meet me in the doubt the same way you meet me in the certainty. I would rather be honest with you than pretend in front of you. I bring my loneliness, the kind that can exist even in a full house, even in a long marriage, even surrounded by people who love me. The ache of not being fully known, or not being able to fully explain what's happening inside me. God, you have never once needed me to explain myself before you understood. You have always known the parts of me I've never said out loud. I bring my shame, the comparisons I make against people whose lives look easier than mine from the outside. The mistakes from years ago that I still replay some nights, long after everyone else has forgotten them. The quiet fear that if people really knew me, they might not stay. God, you already know me completely. Every failure, every regret, every hidden thought, and you have not walked away. You are not going to start now. I bring the prayers I have prayed before, that still haven't been answered, the healing I'm still waiting on, the relationship I'm still hoping will be restored, the door I keep knocking on that hasn't opened yet. God, I don't understand your timing, and tonight I'm not asking you to explain it. I'm only asking you to help me trust it, to believe that unanswered is not the same thing as unheard, and that waiting is not the same thing as forgotten. I bring my children, the ones I raised, or the ones I'm still raising, or the ones I hope to raise one day. Every fear I carry for their safety, every hope I have for who they'll become, every moment I felt like I was failing them without meaning to. God, you love them even more fiercely than I do, and you are watching over them today too, in places I couldn't follow. I bring my parents, aging now in ways that quietly break my heart. The phone calls that feel different than they used to. The visits where I notice a little more each time. How much has changed? God, the same hand that has protected me my whole life is still on them too. Even now, even in this season, neither of us asked for. I bring the person I still haven't forgiven, the one whose name still tightens something in my chest when I hear it. The wound that healed on the outside but never fully closed underneath. God, I'm not ready to say I've let it go completely, but I'm willing to bring it here and let you start working on the parts of me that are still holding on. I bring the future I imagined for myself. That doesn't look the way I pictured it. The plans that fell through. The timeline that got rewritten without my permission. The quiet grief of realizing some doors have closed for good. God, help me trust that you are not finished writing this story, even in the chapters that look nothing like what I expected. I bring my career, my calling, the work I pour myself into most days, the pressure to prove I still belong in the room, the fear of being replaced, overlooked, or simply forgotten. The quiet question of whether any of it actually matters on the days it feels like I'm just going through the motions. God, you know whether I am where you want me, and you know what you are still preparing me for, even in a season that feels like standing still. I bring my marriage, or the relationship closest to my heart, the distance that has crept in without either of us meaning for it to. The conversations we keep avoiding because we're afraid of where they might lead. The love that is still there, underneath the tiredness and the routine, even on the days it's hard to feel it. God, soften what has gone hard between us. Restore what the ordinary wear of life has worn thin. I bring the anxiety that doesn't always have a name, the tightness in my chest that shows up without warning, the racing thoughts that won't slow down even when I tell them to, the way my body sometimes reacts to danger that isn't even there anymore, as if it's still trying to protect me from something that already passed. God, calm my nervous system tonight. Let my body believe what my mind is trying to tell it. That right now, in this moment, I am safe. I bring the parts of my health I am afraid to look at closely, the symptom I keep meaning to get checked, the pain that comes and goes that I've learned to work around instead of address, the quiet fear of what a doctor might eventually tell me. God, you know every cell in this body better than I ever will. Watch over what I cannot see, the same way you always have. There is an old promise that says not to be anxious about anything, but in every situation, through prayer, to bring every request forward with a thankful heart, and that the peace which follows will be too great to fully explain, standing guard over the mind and heart of the one who prays it. God, I don't fully understand how that peace works. I only know I need it tonight, standing guard over every worry I have brought here. And now, I want to say something out loud, not because it changes anything about who you are, but because saying it changes something in me. Say this quietly with me, in your heart, or out loud if you can. I am not carrying this alone tonight. Let those words settle. Let them become more than a sentence. Let them become something you actually believe, even if just for this moment. I am not carrying this alone tonight. God, thank you for every danger you turned aside today, before I ever knew it was there. Thank you for the accident I never had, the sickness I never caught, the conversation that could have shattered something and somehow didn't. Thank you for every hand that held me up without me even feeling it happen. In the ordinary minutes I will never get back and will never fully understand. I ask you now for protection over what is still ahead, over tomorrow and the day after, and every day I cannot yet see. Not because I doubt you are faithful today, but because I need to keep trusting you for what comes next. Protect my body, God, in ways I will never notice, the same way you have all along. Protect my mind from the thoughts that spiral at 2 a.m., the ones that tell me I am failing, that I am behind, that I am not enough. Silence them tonight. Replace them with your voice. Instead, protect my heart from growing hard, even after everything it has been through this year. Let it stay soft enough to still hope, still trust, still love, even after being hurt. Protect the people I love, in the places I cannot go, in the moments I cannot witness. Be their shield the way you have been mine. Protect my finances, my provision, the roof over my head, in ways that quiet the fear before it ever grows into panic. Protect my purpose, God, the sense that my life still means something, even in a season where I cannot see the fruit of it yet. Don't let the waiting convince me that I've been forgotten or overlooked. Protect my rest tonight. Let my body actually sleep, not just lie still while my mind keeps working. Let this be a night my nervous system finally exhales. Protect the version of me that shows up tomorrow, steadier than I feel tonight, kinder than I've been on my hardest days, more patient than my week has allowed me to be. Let me carry less fear into tomorrow than I carried into today, even if only by a little. There is an old promise that says the one who watches over Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. That even in the hours I am unconscious, unaware, completely unable to protect myself, I am not unwatched. There is another that says 1,000 troubles may fall near me, and still, they will not be able to reach the places you have covered. I don't need to understand exactly how that works. I only need to rest inside of it tonight. Let me say it once more. Differently this time. You have already gone ahead of me into tomorrow. Not just today, tomorrow too. And the day after that. Every day I cannot yet see is a day you are already standing in, preparing the way, the same way you did today, the same way you have every day of my life, whether I noticed or not. I bring the waiting room. I feel like I've been sitting in for longer than I expected, waiting for the healing, the breakthrough, the answer, the change of season. God, I don't always know how to wait well. Some days I wait with faith, and other days I wait with a clenched jaw and a tired heart. Meet me in both kinds of waiting. Let neither one disqualify me from your presence. I bring my finances one more time. More specifically now. The number in my account that doesn't quite stretch far enough. The bill with a due date I keep pushing out of my mind. The quiet math I do at night that never quite adds up the way I need it to. God, you have never once let me starve. You have never once left me without shelter. I choose to trust that history over my fear tonight. I bring the weight of the world too. The news I probably shouldn't have watched right before bed. The uncertainty that seems to sit over everything right now. The quiet fear of what kind of world the people I love will have to grow up in, or grow old in. God, you are not surprised by any of it. You are not wringing your hands the way I sometimes do. You are still on the throne over every headline that unsettled me today, and I bring the days I feel like giving up. Not on life, but on trying so hard. The days it feels easier to go numb than to keep hoping. The days faith feels more like discipline than feeling, more like showing up than believing. God, thank you for meeting me even there, in the flat, tired, going through the motions days. The same way you meet me on the days I feel every word of this prayer. Watch over every road I travel in the coming days. The ones I drive, the ones I fly, the ordinary commutes I barely think twice about. Watch over every doorway I walk through without a second thought. Let your protection go before me into the places I will never think to ask you to guard, the same way it did today, the same way it always has. And God, for everything I am too tired to put into words tonight, the worries I can't even name, the weight I can't quite explain, hear my heart anyway. You have always been able to hear what I cannot say. Grace, meet me here, in this tired, honest, unfinished moment. Not because I have earned it, not because today was good enough, but because that has never been how grace works. Let this prayer be enough for tonight. Let it be enough to simply come, tired and unfinished, and bring it all, and trust that you are already holding what I cannot hold myself, the way you have every single day, whether I noticed it or not. And as you rest in these words, hear what God wants to whisper to your heart today. Be still now, and listen. The way you would listen for a familiar voice in a crowded room, the one you would recognize instantly, even after years apart, even in the dark. Not for a voice that thunders, not for something dramatic or loud. Listen instead for the quiet, steady voice that has been speaking over your life since long before you learned to recognize it. This is what God says to you tonight. I protected you today from what you never saw. Before your feet touched the floor this morning, I was already moving on your behalf. I turned aside the danger you never had to face. I closed the door you never even noticed was open. I moved the moment, shifted the timing, redirected the path, all so quietly that you called it an ordinary day, when really it was a day I carried you through. You do not have to see my hand to trust that it was there. A parent does not stop protecting a sleeping child just because the child cannot see them standing in the doorway. I was standing in your doorway all day long. I know the weight you have been carrying, and I have not looked away from it. Not the fear that visits you at night, not the tiredness that goes deeper than sleep can reach, not the worry for the people you love, that you carry silently so no one else has to. I have seen every bit of it, and I have not turned my face from you. Not once. Not for a single moment. You are not too much for me. Your fear is not too much. Your exhaustion is not too much. Your unanswered questions are not too much. Bring them all to me, again and again, as many times as you need to. I will not grow tired of you the way you sometimes grow tired of yourself. I go before you into tomorrow, the same way I went before you today. You cannot see what is coming, but I already have. I am already there, in the meeting you're dreading, in the diagnosis you're waiting on, in the conversation you don't know how to start. I am not waiting for tomorrow to arrive before I begin caring for you inside it. I am already there, preparing the way, just as I was today. Say this quietly with me now. God goes before me into what I cannot see. Let that truth settle into the anxious places, the ones that keep trying to predict every possible outcome, to control what was never yours to control. You do not have to see the road ahead to trust the one who is already walking it. God goes before me into what I cannot see. I have not given you a spirit of fear, the anxious thoughts that circle back at night, the ones that whisper that everything is falling apart. Those are not mine. I have given you a spirit of peace, of clear thinking, of quiet strength, even in seasons that feel anything but peaceful. When fear speaks louder than that truth, it is only because fear is louder, not because it is stronger. I am your refuge, even on the days you forget to run to me. You do not have to have perfect faith for me to be your shelter. You do not have to pray the right words, or feel a certain way, or have it all figured out. You only have to come, tired, uncertain, half believing, and I will still be exactly what I have always been. A place to hide, a place to rest, a place where nothing you carry is too heavy to set down. I see what you have survived, even when no one else noticed. The year that nearly broke you, the loss you are still learning to carry, the version of yourself you had to become just to keep going. I saw every bit of it. I was there in the hardest nights, closer than your next breath, even when it felt like I was silent. My silence was never absence. I was carrying you the whole time, in ways you will only understand when you look back. I am writing something good, even into what feels unfinished. Nothing you are walking through right now is wasted. Not the waiting, not the struggle, not the questions you don't have answers to yet. I am not finished with your story, and I do not waste the hard chapters. I use them gently, in ways you cannot yet see, to shape something in you that could not have come any other way. Tomorrow, I will protect you again from what you will never see either. The same hand that shielded you today will shield you tomorrow. You will wake up, live your day, and never know the full list of what I turned aside on your behalf. That is not because I was absent. It is because that is how I have always loved you. Quietly, faithfully, without needing credit, without needing you to notice. I have counted every tear you have cried in secret, the ones you cried in the car, before walking into a room where you had to look fine, the ones you cried in the shower, so no one would hear, the ones you swallowed instead of crying at all, because you didn't have the space to fall apart. I did not miss a single one. Not one has ever gone unnoticed, unrecorded, uncared for. I have never once compared you to anyone else. The person you keep measuring yourself against does not carry your story, your history, your particular kind of hard. I did not build you to be them. I built you to be exactly who you are, with exactly the life you have been given. And that is enough for me, even on the days it doesn't feel like enough to you. My love for you was never dependent on your performance, not on the days you got everything right, and not on the days you fell apart completely, not on the version of you that shows up polished and capable, and not on the version that shows up exhausted, short-tempered, barely holding together. I loved you the same on your best day and your worst one. That has never once changed, and it never will. I am near to you, especially in the broken places, not distant when your heart is heavy, nearer. Not far off when you feel like you're falling apart, closer than you have ever realized. The places in you that feel most shattered are not the places I avoid. They are the places I lean in closest to hold. Say this quietly with me, one more time. I am held, even in what feels unfinished. Let that settle into every place still waiting for an answer. The health that hasn't fully returned, the relationship still being repaired, the calling still taking shape. Unfinished is not the same as unloved. Unfinished is not the same as unheld. I am held, even in what feels unfinished. I will not leave you to figure tomorrow out alone. The strength you need for tomorrow has not been given to you yet, because you do not need it yet. It will be there, exactly on time, the same way it was there today, the same way it has been there every single day of your life so far, without exception. You are mine, and nothing that happened today, and nothing that will happen tomorrow, changes that. Not the mistake you're still replaying, not the fear you couldn't shake, not the question you still don't have an answer to. You belong to me, fully, permanently, in a way that was never up for negotiation, and never will be. I am your shepherd, and I will not let you want for what truly matters. I lead you to quiet places, even when the world around you is loud. I restore what has been worn thin in you, and even when you walk through the darkest valley, the one you're walking through right now, you do not have to be afraid, because I am with you, closer than you have ever realized, guiding you through it rather than leaving you to find your own way out. I have plans for you that are good, even when the present season doesn't feel that way. Plans to give you a future and a hope, not to harm you, not to abandon you halfway through the story. What feels unfinished to you is not unfinished to me. I see the whole picture from beginning to end, and I promise you, the ending is good. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be discouraged, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will hold you up with my own hand, the same hand that has held you every day of your life, whether you noticed it or not, whether you called it by my name or not. Your work has not been in vain. Even the parts no one else has seen, every quiet sacrifice, every act of love no one applauded, every hard, unseen effort to keep showing up for the people you love. I saw every bit of it, and none of it was wasted, even the parts that felt invisible to everyone but you. I have known the number of your days since before you took your first breath, and I am not finished with you yet. Whatever chapter you feel stuck in tonight, it is not the final one. There is more of your story left to live, more grace left to receive, more mornings left where you will wake up and find, once again, that I was faithful through the night, exactly as I have been through every night that came before it. You matter to me, not for what you accomplish, but simply because I made you, long before anyone else had an opinion of you, before the world told you what you should weigh, what you should earn, what you should have accomplished by now. I already knew you, and I already loved what I knew. That has not changed with a single year that has passed since. Even the waiting you are in right now is not wasted time. I am not idle in your waiting room. I am working quietly on things you cannot yet see, in you and in the situation you are waiting on. When the answer finally comes, you will understand why it took the time it did. Until then, trust the one who has never once been late, even when he didn't look early either. So carry this with you into tomorrow. You were made, you are loved, and you are mine. Not because of what you do, but simply because you are. Rest. Let that word sink all the way down tonight. Not the rest that waits for every problem to be solved first, but the rest that trusts the one who is already holding what concerns you. Carry these promises with you, and before you go, receive this final blessing. Before you close your eyes tonight, let this blessing settle over you. May you go to sleep knowing that you were carried today in ways you never saw and never will. Protected, provided for, held, even in the ordinary hours that felt like nothing at all. May the fear that visits you at night find you steadier than it expects. May the exhaustion you carry find rest, real rest, the kind that reaches all the way to your soul. May the people you love be held by a hand far more capable than yours in the places you cannot follow them. May you wake tomorrow trusting that the same protection that covered you today will cover you again, quietly, faithfully, without needing to be seen to be real. May your fear grow smaller in the morning light, even if it doesn't disappear completely. May your exhaustion find real rest tonight, the kind that reaches past your body and settles into your soul. May the relationships that feel strained find a gentler season ahead. May the finances that feel tight find provision, arriving in ways you don't expect. May you remember, on the hardest days ahead, that you have already survived every hard day that came before this one, and that the same faithfulness that carried you through those is still here, still watching, still working, even when it's quiet. Wherever you are tonight, in a bed that feels too big or too small, or not quite like home yet, may you feel, even faintly, that you are not facing tomorrow by yourself. May the fear that sometimes visits at 4 a.m. find, tonight, that it has less room to stay than it thinks it does, because grace has already claimed the space around you, quietly, the way it always has. And if you remember nothing else from this time together, remember this. You were protected today from what you never saw, and you will be protected again tomorrow in ways you may never fully know, because that is simply how you have always been loved. You are not forgotten tonight. You are not alone tonight. You are watched over today, and you will be watched over tomorrow in ways only grace could arrange. Let your eyes grow heavy now. Let your breathing slow. Let your hands finally unclench whatever they've been holding on to all day. Let this be the last thought you carry into sleep, that you were held today in ways you never saw, and you will be held again tomorrow, the same way, the same faithful hand, the same quiet grace, following you into every hour you cannot yet see. If this time together brought you even a little peace, consider letting this channel know. A like helps more hearts find their way to this quiet space. And if you'd like to return tomorrow for another moment like this one, subscribing and turning on the bell means you'll never miss the next morning or the next night we spend together here. However tomorrow unfolds, you do not have to face it as though you are the only one carrying it. The same hand that turned aside what you never saw today will be right there tomorrow too, moving quietly, faithfully on your behalf, long before you even open your eyes. Thank you for spending this time with God tonight, for bringing your fear, your tiredness, your worry, and your gratitude, all in the same breath, and for trusting this quiet space with all of it. Rest now, beloved, exactly as you are, with nothing proven and nothing fixed and nothing figured out. Grace will meet you again at dawn.